Good morning, students. So, students, today we will start with a new lesson in English. The name of the lesson is The Legend of Marathon. Now, we know that the marathon is a sporting event, it is a running race of about 42 kilometers. The word marathon also means a task or event that lasts a long time and requires a lot of effort and patience. The first marathon race was organized at the time of the first Olympic Games, which was held in Greece. So, the first Olympic Games was in Greece. The marathon was started in the memory of a legendary Greek hero, Philippides, who had carried an important message from the Battle of Marathon to Athens. So, Marathon is a place, name of a place to Athens. Athens is the name of a place in Greece. Given below is the story of his famous run from Marathon to Athens. We do not know whether the story is historically accurate, but it has inspired many generations of sportsmen. So we'll start with the story. About 2500 years ago, Persia was a mighty kingdom. Their large army had landed in the bay near the town of Marathon. Bay is a sea. The target was Athens. So Persia's target was Athens, a city state in Greece. Athens had a small army compared to the Persian one. So Persian had a big army compared to Athens. But the Athenian soldiers were very brave. But the Athenian soldiers, they were less, but they were brave. They had faced the Persian before, but they needed help from other Greek kingdoms now because their armies were small, so they needed help from others. They decided to send a special messenger to the neighboring kingdom of Sparta. His name was Philippides. Now, Philippides was a young man who served as a day long runner. So, this person, Philippides, used to run very fast. He ran to Sparta like the wind. Now, like a wind means you can understand by that how fast he used to run. He covered the distance of nearly 100 kilometers in a day. But alas, the people of Sparta were busy with some ceremonies. Ceremonies means a function where they have rituals or occasion where they have certain rituals. They did not want to join the battle immediately. Philippides took his message back to Athens with a heavy heart, but on a light feet. Again, he ran 100 kilometers within a day. Now, when if we go to run so much, it will be very tiring, but he used to run very fast. When the general of Athens heard the cold Spartan response, they did not lose heart. They were ready to fight on their own. The Persian army was watching Athens like a cat watches a mouse hole. So, Athens and Persian, there were enmity between them. So, they were watching, the Persian army was watching Athens. So, they decided to launch a surprise attack on the Persians. So, Athens, they decided to launch a attack on the Persians. The Athenian generals sent their flanks around the Persian forces like speeding arrows and began to draw them. The Persians were not ready for the battle. At that time, we seen that the Persians had a lot of army. But at that time, when Athens attacked them, they were not ready for the battle. Now, let's see what happens further. Even so, they were skilled archers. They were good at archery, the Persian soldiers. They showered arrows on the soldiers of Athens. But the arrows simply fell off their helmets and strong armor. So the Persians were trying to do something but did not happen. Also, the Athenians knew their seashore well. The Persians were new to the terrain. Many of them were killed. Now, the Persian people were very new to their land of Athens. So, many of them died, the Persian soldiers. Many more were injured. Some of them were lost in the marshy areas. The brave Athenians drove back every single remaining Persian soldier back to their ships anchored in the bay. So the Athenians were attacking them so much that the soldiers who were left, they were they were attacking so much that they had to go back to the ship. The Persian soldiers had to leave and go back to the ships. The battle was over within a few hours. The battle was over, but the Persian, they did not accept defeat. They thought, we will not accept defeat, because they also had a huge army. They saw that the entire army of Athens had rushed to the seashore, leaving the city of Athens far behind. That means all the Athens soldiers, they were close to the seashore. Only the aged people, women, and children were left in the city, that is in the Athens city. The Persians now devised a new plan. So the Persians started making a plan to attack the Athens. The sea route to the city of Athens was much shorter than the land route. So by sea route, you could go more faster compared to the land route. So the Persians decided to take the sea route and pounce upon Athens from the seaside. So they wanted to attack Athens and go through the sea route. The Athenian army would take very long to travel back to Athens on foot. Now they knew that the Athens had come to the seashore, so to go back to their city, it would take a long time. With their heavy armor and weapons, they had lots of weapons also with them, so they would take a lot of time to reach to their city. Seeing the Persians, the defenseless people in the city of Athens would think that Athens had lost the battle. So they would think that they did not come back. The Athens people did not come back. That means they lost the battle. Then it would be easy for the Persians to take over the city. So that was their plan. Then they thought that now for them to go back to the city with their weapons, it would take a longer time. So it would be easy for the Persians to reach over there, and then they would think that the Persians have won. The Athenian generals too were good strategists. So the Athenian people, the bigger people, they also had good strategies. When they saw the Persian fleet leave in a hurry, they understood the Persian plan. So they also understood the Persian plan, that they wanted to reach first to the city. They resolved to go back to Athens as fast as possible to defend it. So the Persian general, the head of that Athens general, they also wanted to move back to Athens fast. But it was very necessary to let the people of Athens know that they had won. So they wanted to reach first. The Athens also wanted to reach, and the Persian also wanted to reach. Then they would not open the city gates to the Persians. They would wait for the victorious Athenian army to return. The city would be safe. If the Athens would enter first over there in the city, then the city of Athens would be safe. But if the Persians would enter, then it would not be safe. Now, who would take this message to them? Now, who would take the message to the people in the city? The message must be delivered before the Persians reach there. Who would travel faster than the Persian ships, and that too on a longer route? Who else but the Phidippides? Okay, he would go more faster, because we know how faster he used to run. Okay, let's see further what happens. Phidippides had already completed a run of more than 200 kilometers just the day before. So before that day, he had ran a lot. But he was a brave young man. He would do anything for his state. Now he was from the state of Athens, Philippides. So he would do anything for it. Also, this time he was to carry a happy message. So he had to carry a message where they have won. So he was ready to do that. It was not easy for Philippides to reach Athens sooner than the Persians did. Now the Persians were going by ship, so they would have reached faster. than Philippines. But then too, he did not lose hope. He went running. That is why this time he left the usual safe route and chose another one. So he chose another route that passed through cliffs and mountains but was much shorter. Now he took a route where there were mountains and it was very difficult for him to run, but that was a shorter route, so he took that route. Philippines scaled the first steep cliff and picked up speed. He picked up a lot of speed. He had to run more than 40 kilometers. It was very hot. He began to perspire, means he began to sweat a lot. There were some shady olive trees on one side of the road. But Philippines could not wait. He could not take rest also if he's tired, because he had to reach to that city of Athens. He just ran on and on. His heart began to beat faster. Now, when you run very fast, you know that you can hear your heart beat, right? So his heart started beating faster. He became weak with hunger and thirst, but he did not stop. He was very hungry, he was thirsty, but he did not stop. At last, Philippines came within the sight of the city gates of Athens. At last, he could see the city gates of Athens, Philippines. He was successful in his mission. He had reached before the Persian. Now, Persians were, although traveling by ship, then to Philippines reached before them. The people of Athens threw open the gates to Philippines. So the people of Athens were so happy that they opened the gates for him. What happened, Philippines? Do you bring good news or? The people of Athens were asking, have you brought good news? So he says, yes, yes, joy to you. We won. We won. As soon as Philippines had delivered this message, he collapsed. That means Philippines fell down on the floor. He collapsed, never to rise again. So he lost his life because he ran so much, but he did a good work. He had laid down his life in the service of Athens. Athens was a state where he was living, so he laid down his life for that. The story of Philippines has inspired the people of Greece for many centuries, for many years. People remember him. His historic run from Marathon to Athens became a legend, so he still remembered. This person, Philippines, is still remembered. When the Olympic Games were started in Greece, this legendary event was commemorated in the form of the sporting event, the marathon. Now we also see this when there is Olympic Games, this marathon race is there where you have to run a lot of kilometers. So by this, it got the name marathon. Okay. Today marathons are arranged in many countries. We see marathon races arranged in lots of countries. When you see one, or when you are old enough to take part in one, remember the first marathon runner. He was no one. Who was he? He was the Philippines, who sacrificed his life for his own state. Okay, so here we end with this chapter. We will learn the next chapter in the next video. Thank you for listening, children. Goodbye. Take care.